Hello, my name is Mark Taylor. Welcome to the Education on Fire podcast network. This show is sponsored by the National Association for Primary Education. Hello and welcome to the Education on Fire podcast. The place where we share creative and inspiring learning in our schools. Episode 105. Hello, this is Mark Taylor. Welcome back to the Education on Fire podcast. I hope you've enjoyed the last few weeks of our primary music specials, whether you're part of our Primary Music on Fire membership site or the email list to get all the latest resources of all things music. It's great, obviously, for me, having the membership site and being able to plough my passion back into something to give back into schools, to support teachers, people in education, really giving some wonderful experiences for children through music, which of course is my voice, it's my passion, it's the thing which I love to do, being a professional musician and an educator of music within schools. I'd like to thank a couple of people who've actually left some comments on the educationonfire.com website, both Chris from last week's podcast on Education on Fire, and Mike also, I think, has left a couple of messages. I've had a couple of interesting discussions and things with people who've come to the podcast in recent weeks and months, and I just really started to understand that while I know exactly what's going on, sometimes maybe it's not very clear for people that are coming to the podcast sort of further down the line, especially now we're over 100 episodes into Education on Fire. So the first thing is just to make sure that those people that have just started listening, that you're aware that this is part of a whole education network, educationonfire.com podcast network. And we have three shows. We have this, our Education on Fire podcast, which is now, as I said, 105 episodes down and is basically done in themed seasons. And the seasons that we've covered so far are basically an introduction to what I think education is and some really important conversations about how that affects children and education as a whole sort of system, as it were. And there are a few episodes with those. Our second season was based all around computing and technology, and that starts at episode 9. Our third season was What Do the Children Think? And that was what I went through, and I interviewed some children, some in school, some out of school, and some parents and their children, so to really get an idea of what is it the children think about schooling themselves. What do they like about it? What don't they like about it? How do they see it fitting in their life? And we just sort of explored that a little bit, because I thought that's not necessarily something which gets asked very often. And so that was a really interesting conversation that we had with a few of those people. Our fourth season was Music in the Arts, and that really was the launch pad, really, for me then starting Primary Music on Fire, the membership site, which is part of Education on Fire, to take the fear out of teaching music and to really support teachers who are having to deliver music in school but often haven't got the training or the confidence or the background to really know how to develop it. And obviously myself and Carol Aviard, with our expertise of many years of doing this, is something that we were able to give back. And as I said, as we're passionate about it, you know, that's what Education on Fire is all about. It's about sharing your passion. It's about being inspiration. It's about being creative. And this is obviously my voice. It's a way that I was able to do that. And so that was really the springboard for that. And I really enjoyed that episode as we really dove into those things. Season 5 was all about PE, physical education, and we covered a lot of things both from relevant here in the UK and also in America as well. Some other specialist PE podcasts, to some membership sites, to some resources and organisations that can help you within your school. So that was a great episode. It's completely different to the music one that we've done before, but that's what I love about this. You know, the whole point of having seasons is that we can cover lots of different aspects of primary school, especially as we know here in the UK, you know, you're having to cover so many different things. Our sixth season was all about English and literacy, and that was so wide-ranging and so many great ideas, so many different people that are supporting children in a different way, I think, you know, coming at it from different ways in terms of making YouTube videos, in terms of setting up companies where you can bring so many different aspects of the curriculum together, writing books, so many different aspects above and beyond just exactly how you're going to follow the curriculum and how it fits around the whole learning within a school, which I just absolutely loved. So the Music in the Arts season started at episode 40, the PE season started at episode 71, the English and Literacy season started at 87. And if you go to the website, I'm going to have direct links to the launch shows of each of those separate seasons. So if you want to check back and you want to listen to some of those episodes related to those different topics, you've got an easy starting point. But as I said, those are the ones that are there to do. So We've started recording already our next season, season 7, which is all going to be about well-being and how this whole holistic side fits into schools, exactly what we can do to support children, how the system is and isn't supporting children, and what we can do to really help that. So that I'm really excited about, and there's some great interviews set up already and some great recordings that we have that I'm really pleased to share with you once we get back into the autumn term. The best way to keep in contact with everything, so you know what's going on, is please subscribe on whichever platform, whatever app it is that you're listening to, so that you always get the latest one. It will just download whenever another episode has been released. You can like the Facebook page. Just go to Facebook and search for Education on Fire. Like the page, and I do some extra things on there. There's a few Facebook Lives and just a few extra little things that just to keep us up to date and let you know about things that are happening. And the other thing to do is you can join the email list. If you go to educationonfire.com, sign into the email list there, and there I give you exactly when all the episodes are released. We often have some extra freebies or anything which is going on. I can just talk to you and let you know exactly what's going on without you having to do anything more than open up your inbox, and there it is there waiting for you. We're going to have a little siesta, a little summer siesta over the next few weeks in August. It's the summer holidays here in the UK. I'm going to be spending some time with my family. We're going to be getting away. We've also got some interesting projects coming up. Obviously, it's important how all these things fit together, and the fact that Education on Fire and exactly what we're doing with these theme seasons, the fact we have Learning on Fire as our second podcast, where we're supporting parents and children, interviewing people who are living life on their terms, and exactly the kind of things beyond school which really help them, whether it's about mentors, the best advice they were given, the teachers which really supported them, the sorts of resources they've come across which have made a big difference. And that all happens on the Learning on Fire podcast. And of course, we have the National Association for Primary Education podcast, and they are also the sponsor of Education on Fire as a whole network for this year. And they've been absolutely fantastic, and I've been able to support them by giving them their own podcast, and that's really enabled us to get across the message of what they do, interviewing some of the people on the National Council, the fact that the things they do are like a whole tier above what I've been talking about. They do talk to ministers. They do have as much influence on policy and working with groups on a national level that's supporting education. So as a teacher, if you want your voice to be heard, if you want to really feel like there are people working on your behalf, then they're such a great organisation, and I'm so pleased and privileged to have them as a sponsor, and it's been a real gift to be able to mean that I can give you as much content as possible over this year, and I thank them very much. If you want to listen to any of the different podcasts, then everything's available on the website. So educationonfire.com is the home for everything. You can find everything there. But if you'll want to listen to it on an app or a tablet or different platform, just search for the name of each of those things individually. So you obviously know this one because this is where you're listening, Education on Fire. But just search for Learning on Fire, and that will get you the link to the next one, or the National Association for Primary Education. That will do the third one as well. And each of those 3 different podcasts are going to give you something slightly different, but overlap in that way, because it's all about a child-centred version of education. So I hope that all makes sense. Really hope you enjoy the next couple of weeks of your holidays and everything, and then we'll be back early September just to really start our next season all about well-being. But as I said, look out on the Facebook page, look out in your inbox, because there are a few special things that we're planning which we're really excited to be able to deliver as soon as we're able to release that information for you. So have a great time over the holidays, and we'll speak to you again very soon. Thanks for listening to the Education on Fire podcast. For more information of each episode and to get in touch, go to educationonfire.com. Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire.